Right, so in today's video, what I want to show you is exactly how you can repair patches in your lawn that look like this, or that might look a little bit like this, where you have some unsightly spaces. Maybe you've removed some weed grasses, maybe you've just started a bit of dieback, or possibly you've got a dog that's done a wee on the lawn and it's killed the patch. I'm going to show you a really simple method that you can use to actually repair those patches and to repair them fast as well. So let's get into the garden and tell you what I've got. So the spaces that I have out on the front lawn are from where I actually pulled some weed grasses recently, and the reason why I didn't put any seed down on them at the time is just because of the weather that we've had. So we had the 4th heat wave of the year recently, and that was just before I actually pulled those from the front. So unless I got on and watered it every day, there'd be no point in actually chucking the seed down. So instead, what I decided to do was to grow some grass seed inside of this big tub. I put some holes in the bottom, put a bit of soil in, put a bit of seed in, chucked this over the top, repaired the hole from where I damaged it getting out of the garage from the top shelf, and it fell. And it basically acted like a little mini greenhouse. So I got the soil nice and moist, got the seeds nice and moist, and I've not actually watered it since because the soil had a lot of moisture in it already, so that's helped the plants to establish. It's around about a week and a half old. If I bring it in, you can just see how thick and lush it's looking already. Absolute monster jungle. It's a little bit long, but what it has enabled us to do is to establish grass really fast without having to take your hose out to the front and to faff around and to water the entire thing, blah 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 blah. So I'm gonna take this box as best I can because it weighs a ton out to the front, and we're gonna pull some plugs of just bare soil that are out there and replace them with these. We've got some rain coming in the next 2-3 hours, so once I put them in, I'm a bit stressed for now, but then once that rain comes, I'm hoping that it helps them to bed in, and we've got loads of rain coming next few days and stuff anyway, so hopefully that's going to help. They are a bit jungly, it's a million times longer than the grass I currently have, but I've got a bit of a solution for that, and yeah, let's see if it works. Remind me to have a carry to the front again. Your fingers are on death's door here. Put some gloves on, get a tea towel. We'll go from there. So how this is going to work is I'm going to use this plugger tool. I think it's mainly used for like bulbs and things, but you can still use it on your lawn. And we've got spaces like this where we've got a bit of dieback from, I think it's probably from weed grass or something like that. So all I'm going to do is, if I can, you can see there to jump on it because the soil is so unbelievably dry. Take a core out of the soil. So there we go. Nice little dead core that we're going to remove. We'll take our plugger and we'll take a core from this little cool cat, which granted the soil is quite soft, so I've got a feel it might break apart a little bit as it comes down through the tube. Let's be as delicate as we can. There we go. Little fella with his long hairs come down. You see from this, we press this down, so I'm going to take a little bit of this soil from down at the bottom. Let's pack that into the bottom there. There we go. The same sort of height. Then we can take our new little plug with our new little grass head and chuck them in like so. Press them in nicely. Packed it in. Now you can see that it's a really light shade of green if I just get it in close. The reason it's a much lighter shade is just because it's less mature, the plants. But we're just going to take off that top growth. Pair of the old kitchen scissors, like so. Get as level as we can down to the existing grasses that we've got there. A few taller fellas here, that's okay. Leave them a bit tall. That's right for now. Let's go with another space like this. So maybe we'll take 2 cores for this one. Start off with one. Remove that. And then the other next to it. Go. A little new one. Chuck him in there like that. There we go. Chuck him in. Lovely stuff. Now, it might be a bit jarring because they're really luminous at the moment, but these are the exact same grass type, the exact same seed variety of what's around it. So once they start to bed and mature, they're going to turn the exact same colour. Happy days. Another space filled, and from a distance, it's so luminous. Doesn't matter. They'll blend in time. Looks stupid for now. Short-term pain, long-term gain. So let's do the rest of the plugs. See you on the other side. Right, so there we go, we filled in those spaces now. Let's give it 2 weeks, because they're luminous at the moment. You can't miss them, can you? We'll have like helicopters landing on the grass tonight because of how bright they are. But let's give it 2 weeks. Let's see how they bed in. Let's see if this little experiment works. Right, so it's been a week now since we actually put the plugs in on this lawn, and from a distance you can't really tell on this side. Obviously we're quite far from them. If we get over on this side, you can see that they've started to blend in a little bit better with the grasses. You can still see that they are still slightly lighter in terms of the shade of green, but they are starting to blend in. I mean, these ones over here, can hardly even tell that they're there if I just zoom in on the space. So there was 2 that went in over here. Can hardly even tell they're there. By the way, just ignore this side. I'm going to tidy this up at some point soon. This one is struggling to an extent, but I think when I first put it in, we started a little bit of heat, so it was kind of baking a little bit towards the edge of this side. But we have had some rain in the past few days, and you see that gap there. Do you remember when we had the big space? It started to close up because the soil's becoming much more hydrated, and because we have such a dense canopy, I mean, look how dense and thick the grasses are there. So I think what we'll do is let's get the mower, let's give this a quick cut. We'll continue with the double stripe. We'll even tidy up the edge as well. Get it looking absolutely boss. So there we go, it's not looking too bad. We have a few lines in the lawn, but I think it's because it rained around about an hour and a half ago. So the soil is a little bit soft, but the colour's looking boss, the patches are looking fairly decent. And I know some people are going to comment to say, well, I could have just overseeded them and within a few weeks they're going to germinate and start to mature, but those grass plants are going to be much more mature now than what they would be than if I actually got on with seed. So giving them that little bit of a head start. And now that we're going to be getting hopefully quite a bit of rain through September, they're going to bed in, and by the end of autumn into the winter, they're going to be well established and they're not going to die off through that tricky period then. So if you have enjoyed today's video, then feel free to give it a like. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel. We've got loads of stuff on this channel already about sort of how to get yourself a fairly decent lawn. I mean, this was a ryegrass lawn this time last year and it did look pretty decent. However, if we just get in over the top of the sward now, look at the density of that, you know, how unbelievably dense it's looking, how tightly packed together that canopy is looking, and we do not have a single weed in sight at the moment. We've got no weed grass, we've got no broad-leaved weeds, just got absolutely boss grass plants thriving and looking amazing. So yeah, subscribe if you haven't already, like I've already said. And finally, thanks for watching.